Hello and welcome along to another episode of this Snooker 19 career, the other O'Sullivan with me, Daniel. It's episode 15 and we're back for our second successive bonus Sunday episode, this time in our first ranking final against Mark Williams in the Scottish Open. If you don't know why we're back for a second episode from this final, do catch up with Friday's episode to see how we're getting on and the position we rejoin this match in. We also had a double header last weekend with a semi-final against Mark Selby. Of course you know the outcome from that one now, but it was certainly a dramatic couple of episodes, so do go back and catch up with the series if you aren't up to date. But we're carrying on today where we left off against Mark Williams. Those of you that have been up to date with the series will know exactly where we are. We're trying to win 70,000 in prize money and our first ranking title, and if we can do it against the world number 3, the current world champion in game, as we've not yet reached the 2019 World Championship in the calendar, then we will move up in the rankings, up into the top 60 as it stands at the moment. If not, we'll be moving up just into the low 60s or high 70s at best, but we're still going to be making excellent progress in our first season as a pro. So let's get back into the game. If you haven't gone back to catch up yet, you are going to get a spoiler any second. We're 3-2 down to Mark Williams. We're rejoining the action, having won the 5th frame on Friday, and it was in the most dramatic of circumstances too. Mark Williams missed the pink when he was clearing up the colours, and we've got another chance to get a frame on the board. We've got to win both of the remaining 2 frames to lift the trophy, whereas Mark Williams of course only needs 1, so he very much still is in pole position, but we've got the break in this frame, and let's see if we can make a decent fist of it. If we do lose to Mark Williams' excellence, then so be it, but it would have been awful to lose the way we were playing in the last frame, where it was really scrappy and we sort of just gifted him the result, but thankfully he made a mess of it too, and the nerves are starting to get to the experienced champ, so hopefully our break off here will be decent and put him under a little bit of pressure. It looks like we've got behind the brown perfectly, and we may have even snookered him on all reds, so let's just see what he can do from this one. Hopefully he'll give us our first 4 points on the board. Mark Williams going off 1 cushion. I'm not sure what he's doing there. I think he might be broken because that doesn't make much sense. That may well be a bug because I don't know why he's doing that. He didn't even try to hit the reds in the end. That was a very peculiar effort. Hopefully we can get him to retake it just to see if he'll do something a bit more sensible, and fingers crossed that won't be the way this final's decided. We don't really want it to be decided on an AI glitch. As much as we're really enjoying it and would love to win the trophy, it's certainly not the way we'd like to do things. So we're going to get Mark Williams to retake it. Let's see if he can make a better fist of the second attempt. Okay, we've put him back in the retake position, so let's just make sure he doesn't do something stupid this time. Hopefully he won't. He's coming off the top cushion this time. That's even more bizarre. What on earth is he doing? It certainly seems like we found a bit of a bug in the game. It's been absolutely brilliant and immersive for 14 episodes, but we may have just found our first flaw. I know there's a bit of pressure on this final, but I'm sure Mark Williams wouldn't be making these choices. We're going to get him to take it again. He can't get to any of the reds, but if we do get to the stage where it's 5 or 6 fouls, we will just come along and do something ourselves. We're on to 3 now. We're going to give him a couple more, and then we may well have to put him out of his misery. I know that it's not the most realistic thing to do. If a player was missing, you'd just keep him retaking it, but it certainly seems to be an AI problem here, and I think we could just go on forever if we leave it. We'll give him a few more, see what he can do, but once we get to the sort of 30-point mark, I think we really have to call it at that. So we'll put him in for a 4th retake. Let's see what he does with this one. It's a very bizarre start to the frame, certainly not what I expected to see. This one looks a bit more sensible. Is he going to hit the reds or the black? He's cannon with the black, but at least that was a sensible effort. The right sort of line and shot. It was just a little bit misjudged by Mark Williams. But that fills me with a bit more hope. We're going to get him to retake it, I think, because it hasn't really left us anything on, and if anything, it's just put the black in a worse position. So a forced retake. We got 7 points for that one, but it's actually a slightly more promising sign. Let's hope he goes for a sensible shot again. This one looks pretty sensible as well, and I think he might well hit the reds here, so it is over. A bit of a weird decision for the first 2 shots, but he has recovered in the end and used a bit of common sense to get out of the snooker. So I'm not sure if we've got a red on here. I don't know if this one passes, so that's a little bit of a risky shot if we go for it. I think it might well edge past, but it's certainly a gamble that we wouldn't like to take. We don't really have any other options though, and we do have a 19-point lead. Most of the reds reds are in the pack, so hopefully it won't be a disaster if we miss it. So we're just going to try and roll it in. We do need to screw forward to make sure we get through these 2 reds, and fingers crossed it'll drop in the corner pocket. And what an awful misjudgment that was. I think we might have got away with it, you know. I don't know if any of the reds pass each other. We may have just got the biggest stroke of luck in the world, but unfortunately it wasn't to be, and Mark Williams is here to start a break. We'll just make sure he pots the black, and then we'll leave him to build his break, and we'll come back if we get another chance at the table. Hopefully we will, but at least we got a 19-point lead without having to do anything ourselves. The black's gone in, so we'll leave Mark Williams to break build, and we'll be back in a moment when we get a chance at the table. Well, I should have left the camera rolling. He missed the very next red. I don't know what he was doing. He was focusing too much on the position, and what on earth's gone wrong there? I'm pretty sure we judged that right, but it looks like it's gone absolutely disastrously, and I think we've just left Mark Williams the perfect chance to clear up and win the Scottish Open at the first attempt in this frame. He gave us 19 points as a gift, and we're doing everything to return the favour for him now, and I'm sure he won't be able to make a mess of this one. He's potted the blue now as well, but run out of position slightly, though it looks like he's potted the next red easily. So we'll be back in a moment, I presume for the trophy presentation, although we may well get another chance at the table. Fingers crossed for a Mark Williams mistake. The final's pretty much over, and we'll see you in a moment if we get a chance. Well, what on earth is going on in this final? Mark Williams has missed a simple shot again, a blue off the spot this time, and after a break of 21 we're back at the table, and Mark Williams has only got a 10-point lead. So we've got the first red, which is almost straight to the middle, and we're just going to try and screw back for the pink. There are quite a few tricky reds left at the table, but I think there's a couple to keep us going for now. It will be easy to run out of position, the pressure of the final will tell as well, but fingers crossed we'll be able to add a few to the scoreboard and just get ourselves in a decent position in this frame. So we want to go for the red at the bottom of the pack of 2, so we're just going to try and nestle this one in and then screw through towards the far pocket. It looks like we've done pretty well there. The pink's gone into the far corner pocket and we've not got too tight to the cushion, so it looks like we're in a relatively good position. The red should pass easily. I don't quite know which colour we're going to get on here, although it does look like there's a little path through to the blue. If we hit it light enough we should be alright. So let's just try and do that. We've got to make sure we pop the red first. 29% power, that's going to make it nicely. We've pushed the other red out the way and we've got a nice angle through to the blue into the middle pocket to leave ourselves on a couple of reds to the bottom. So we're just going to nestle this one in. It looks like we're building a break quite comfortably, but I can assure you it isn't comfortable at all at the moment. We're just going to drop this one in literally, and then we've got a pretty straight red to the corner then. So let's just hit this 20% power. The blue goes in. We've got plenty of screw back on it just to make sure it doesn't stun through too far, and once the blue's been respotted it's not going to be in the way at all, so it just leaves us an opportunity to pop this straight red. We're going to be able to come down for the pink naturally. It is a shame the black isn't on its spot, but we've not got too much to complain about. We didn't expect to be at the table again. Mark Williams isn't looking very happy. He's obviously let nerves get the better of him, and we've got a relatively decent angle on the pink now to get for one of the 2 reds along the bottom cushion. So let's just make sure we get the pink in first. That'll put us well ahead on the scorecards. It's almost as straight as you can get, so if we can take the power off it with the cue ball, we should naturally fall on the red just below the spot. So 15% power puts the pink in. We run through for the other red, and the pink will go back on the black spot, which leaves us nicely for the colour after this one. So it looks like a pretty good break so far, but we've seen it all go wrong before. So let's just put this one in and then the pink, and then we'll reevaluate our position from there. We've overhit this one grossly, so we've lost the angle we wanted, and now rather than coming up for one of the easier reds, we're going to be playing the deft touch along the bottom cushion. So let's just get this pink in first, make sure we pop the colour as we said we would, and then we've got to screw back along this bottom cushion just to make sure we get onto a red. I'm not quite sure how easy this is going to be. We may have to leave a little bit of an angle, but if we can get below the pink spot we've got half a chance, even though it's going to be a tricky one. So hopefully we'll be able to pop this, and if not, as long as we don't leave something on, we're not going to complain too much. We lead by 17 with a break of 27, and we're in a good position in this 6th and penultimate frame. Okay, we've lined up the red as well as we can. We can't really gamble on getting on a colour. We've just got to make sure the red drops, and it does. And we've actually ended up with a pretty good angle on the pink. We couldn't have asked for much more out of that shot. And now we've got a real golden opportunity to win this frame and take this final to a decider. Who would have thought that a 3-1 when we were watching Mark Williams clear up the colours on Friday afternoon? But as it is, we've still got a chance now. We're just going to try and cannon these 2 reds, put every red in a potable position, and fingers crossed we'll be on one to the middle. middle. 31%, the pink goes in. We've not hit it hard enough, but we've just about got away with it as the red comes loose from the pack of two, and now we've got an easy enough pot to the middle. It's not the best angle and we will have to come up for the blue, but we'll have taken that at the start. We're delighted to still be in this match. 24% power, we've overhit it very slightly, so we will be a little bit high on the blue, but I think we can still do a good enough job there. It may mean we have to come off the bottom cushion, which is where we start to get out of position occasionally, but as long as we maintain the lead in this frame, we're pretty happy with where we stand. We're going to have to screw back a little bit here, see if we can get into a good position. If we can go pretty much where the blue line's leading us, we should be on a red to the middle pocket, so let's go for that at 23%. We've underhit it very slightly, but it's worked out absolutely perfectly as we've got one of those reds to the middle. Let's put that in and then we'll reevaluate our position, as it looks like there's a couple of tricky reds after that. We're just going to drop this one in again, literally 15% power, there's nothing more needed to it. 14 we're going for in the end, but we've ended up overhitting it anyway. The red drops in, we've got the blue to the middle, although it's going to be quite tricky to get on a red from here. We may end up coming for a vault colour, but we're just going to try the blue for now and see if we can come off the top cushion and try and get back down towards the middle of the table. The only problem we've got is when the blue gets respotted, are we going to be able to avoid that position? But let's just give it a go. 39% power and we'll come off two cushions and round the yellow spot. We've managed to miss the corner pocket, that's the most important thing. We've come back past the yellow and nudged the brown, and although it's a long red, it's a pretty straight red to the corner remaining. One more red and a colour for a half-century break, and just two more reds and colours to put this frame out of sight. Right, we've lined up the straight red. We're just going to try and roll down for the pink. Try and build as many points of a lead as possible. This one's just going to drop in hopefully. Then if we can pot the pink, it's a half-century break and we're not far away from securing the frame. So how far ahead are we now? 37 at the moment. This would make it 43 with 43 remaining. I'm almost tempted to go for the black, but that's a missable pot and we certainly don't want to do that at this stage. So we are just going to try and come up for the red. We want to make sure that we don't leave ourselves in a poor position. We just want to make sure it's almost dead straight to try and stop Williams coming back to the table. The pink's in and the red's pretty much straight. Hopefully the pink will go back on the black spot. It doesn't look like there's room for it there. It's worked out pretty perfectly. Again, it's a pretty much straight shot. So we're just going to try and roll down for the pink again, just to make sure we get another red in the colour. That should stop Mark Williams coming back. 29% power, we've got a nice angle on the pink, and I doubt we're going to get onto the last red, but as long as we secure the frame, that's all that matters. A 54 break when we needed it most, and it's about to become 60 here, and we'll try and screw back just to get a decent angle on this red, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I'm amazed that we've got back to 3-all. Some of the comebacks we've been producing in recent weeks have been absolutely remarkable, and this one's going to top the lot, especially if we then win the decider. But think about the deflation. If we come back to 3-3 and then throw it away in the final frame, I'm sure Mark Williams will find his power again, and it looks like we'll be able to drop this red in. Let's just try and get on the pink. I don't even care about building the break for the colours. The red has dropped, the frame is over, we've got pink or blue to either corner, and we should be able to get on the yellow and start thinking about the final frame. So let's just pot this one. I don't even want to continue the break anymore. We don't need to set any ominous signs for Mark Williams. He knows what we're about by now. So we're just going to try and drop this in the corner pocket and make sure we can make contact with the yellow afterwards. It's not about leaving a potable angle. We've missed the blue as it is anyway, but I'm sure the lead's big enough that he won't come back to the table, and the next thing you'll see is the start of the deciding frame. A wonderful comeback performance. Let's hope we don't throw it away from here. Right, we're into the decider. It's Mark Williams to break. Hopefully we'll be able to put up a fight in this frame. After coming back from 3-1, the last thing we want to see is a century break and us losing the title without getting a chance to make it happen. We look like we've been left half a chance on this red, so we are of course going to try and pot it. We know how bad our safety exchanges are, so even if we don't get on a colour, it's worth the risk to try and pot the red. So 26% power, it seems like we've nailed it, and it looks like we're going to be able to get on the black. We might not have any opportunities after this colour, but what a start to the frame. Just puts a feeler out there for Mark Williams, lets him know that we're in form and he can't be messing with us. We're going to try and go through the pack at the same time. I think it's our best opportunity, and if it doesn't work out we can play a safety. We're not going to complain at this point. The black goes in, which is most important. It looks like we've got a couple of reds away from the pack, but are we going to be lucky enough to have any of them on? It's going to be a tricky pot to the top corner pocket if anything. We could go for this one to the bottom corner, but that's relatively unlikely to be potted. We haven't got enough of an angle on that one in the pack, so we are going to have to go for this red to the corner. As we've left reds dotted everywhere, we can't really go for a safety shot from here, as there's no part of the table that's actually safe. So we're going to try and put this in the top corner pocket, but we're also going to come up for the bulk line, just to make sure that we don't leave too much on if we do end up missing the pot. So 40% power, let's see if the red goes in. Keep your eye on that pocket, it drops beautifully, and it looks like we're on the yellow to the middle. That's a fantastic outcome. It looks like we may even have blue to the corner, but that isn't the most likely of potting angles. It's a pretty straight pot, but I'm not happy enough with that one, so we are just going to go for the yellow for now. Although that doesn't look much better in truth, so we may well end up going for the blue, but which one are we able to get on a red from? It doesn't look like either of them are likely, so we're just going to try and nestle forward. Even if we don't pot anything after the blue, we can play a good safety shot. The blue's into the heart of the pocket, that's the most important thing, and we may well have got onto one of these reds, although it does look like they're going to cover each other to reach the pocket. We could even try and play a plant. That would be a bit daring at this stage of the match, but it certainly wouldn't be too much of a harm, as most of the other reds are in the pack. So do you know what, we're going to be daring. We came back to this position by going for things, and we're going to go for this one as well. Okay, we're back at the table, a 39 break from Mark Williams, something he's done in 3 of these 6 frames. It's a little bit weird. We're going to have to play a safety though, as there's no pot on. 42% power, we've overhit it very slightly, but as long as we get a favour from the yellow, which oh my we have, we've just got tight on that top cushion, and although that's a half chance for the left-hander, I don't know if Mark Williams is confident enough to pot it at the moment. I have no idea if confidence is built into this game, but it looks like he's going for a safety shot, so it must be something that's working for us. It's getting a little bit negative now we're making a comeback. Having said that, he might be saved by the brown here. He hasn't, he's misjudged that a little bit, and we've got a half chance at this red, and I think as with before, we're going to have to take it on, as we're not capable of playing the safety shots to the same standard. So we're going to try and pot this to the corner. Again, we'll try and come back up the table, just in case we miss the red, but I don't think that's going to be possible at the moment, so it's basically pot or bust at this stage. We're well behind, so we've got to take a chance. We've underhit it grossly and come back off the black. The red's gone in, but it's worked out beautifully. We've managed to get onto the yellow or green. I couldn't have been much more pleased with that outcome. We'll pot the yellow and it will be break over, although we have got the black to the bottom corner actually. Let's go for that one instead. It looks an almost straight pot. What a fantastic bit of luck that is. If we hit it lightly enough, we should have a pretty straight red to the top corner. If we go for the one along the cushion, get the hardest red out the way, and then we can start to think about the pack and cannon into them if we get an opportunity. So the black's going to drop. It's just been dropped in lovely, and now we're pretty much straight on this red, and we've got a good opportunity to open up this frame. So let's just pot the red, and then we'll think about what we're going to do after that. We've got to find a way to get into these reds, but I don't quite know how we're going to do it just yet. There is one loose enough that'll go to the middle pocket, or in fact the one at the top and to the left of the pack could both go to the middle left hand side, but how we're going to get back down there, I'm not quite sure just yet. We've got to pot the red first though, that's the most important thing, and we're going to have to take a little bit of power off if we want to make sure we get the pot. But even so, that means we're not going to get on a colour, so we are going to have to just try and stun it with 52% power. We want the red to stop. The red's gone into the pocket, the cue ball stopped on its spot. That is absolutely perfect. It's exactly what we were looking for. But as we make more pots and get more excited, I'm sure you'll notice my sentences get far less coherent as we go along. So we're just going to pot the brown. We're going to try and come back down the table just to leave ourselves half a chance at a red to the middle. If we come a bit too far, then so be it. As long as we can play a safety shot, that's fine. With the reds all close together, that's a possibility now. I don't know if we've come quite far enough for the bottom red, but we may have the one at the top of the pack. It's just whether we can see enough of it to pot it. Well, it's our lucky day. We've lined the red up and it's just about perfect, and we should be able to get onto the blue pretty straight as well. So this frame is going to go right down to the wire. What a deciding frame. People who have paid for tickets for this final, they certainly aren't going to be disappointed, and they're certainly going to go away talking about us, whether we win this frame or not. So let's try and pot the blue and get back down the table. It's going to require an awful lot of screw back, as the yellow's in the way to stop us coming off the cushion, and we're just going to try and get down for the bottom of the pack again, as we've now opened up the other two reds to the middle. So let's just see if we can do it at 69% power. I'd rather underhit it than overhit it, and of course as I say that I've overhit it, and I may well get caught behind the black now. That's going to be the end of the break, I'm afraid. We've pretty much played a perfect safety shot, and we've now got to get back up the table off the reds. As long as we don't leave one away from the pack too much, we can try and get in behind the yellow, but it's going to require perfect precision and power, something I'm certainly not renowned for in this series. So let's just try and play off the top cushion. 19% power should send us up there, and and as long as there isn't a pot on, we're not going to worry too much about the snooker. We've brought the 4 reds back together. I think we might have nailed this, you know. We're in against the yellow, and he snookered on all the reds. What a wonderful shot that is. I certainly won't be able to do that again. Let's hope Mark Williams has a little glitch again, gives us another 20 points or so. He hasn't, he's come straight through and hit the reds, and he's managed to avoid the corner pocket with a cue ball, and remarkably I don't think he's left an easy pot on, despite making an absolute hash of the shot. It's a very thin cut, so I can't guarantee we can pot it. What we are going to have to do is come up the table, and just hope we can get up there, and make it safe enough if we don't make the pot. 39% power, the red rows off the jaws of the pocket, and just hovers over it. We really need the green to come to our rescue here, and do you know what, I don't think it has, so it could well be the end of our tournament, but what a fantastic opportunity it was. It's Mark Williams playing a safety, so he must have been covered, and what on earth he was doing there I don't know, but it's all become clear as the red drops in, and unfortunately that's going to be the end of our chances. Mark Williams will surely pot this black, and then he's got the red hovering over the cushion, and with a lead already in this frame it's certainly going to be frame over, although as I say that he's managed to miss the black. What on earth is going on with Mark Williams potting? He seems to be giving us every opportunity. This isn't on easy mode, we're playing on professional, so I'm not quite sure how this is happening, but we've got another chance at the table. Let's see if we can wrap it up this time. So we've of course lined the red up over the pocket first. We're just going to make sure we don't pot the cue ball. The black's over the corner pocket, so we can't miss that one. We've potted the red and we're on the black, although the reds are still in tricky positions, and we've got the pink and yellow off their spots. So that's going to be tricky, as we will need to almost clear up. I don't know if we're going to need the pink, but we're certainly going to need the yellow. But most importantly, we've got to try and get on a red from here. That's going to be difficult enough. 61% power, we've underhit it slightly. We've potted the black though, and we've made a pretty good go of it, and it looks like we may be on both reds to the corner. What an outcome that is from that shot. So we're going to get the harder one out of the way first. It looks like the easier one to pot from this angle anyway, but it is going to be the more difficult one to get to, so it's fantastic if we can pot that one first. We just want to make sure we get on the black. So 17% power, we've overhit it slightly, but we should have a good enough angle to come back up for the other red and continue our break and go into the colours. We're 2 points ahead now. It's really starting to become a tense final frame. There have been a few scrappy ones in this one. The last frame was a bit of an anomaly in truth, so let's just see if we can get a similar position for the other red with 40% power on the black. The black's potted, that's the most important thing. We're on the red pretty well, and the most important shot is going to be red to colour here, followed by colour to yellow. So let's see if we can get this one in. It looks like it's relatively straightforward to the corner pocket, and again we should be able to get a good angle on the yellow to then come back up the table for the yellow. I meant to say a good angle on the black, which obviously we've managed to achieve now. The pressure's getting to me. I really don't know what I'm saying at the moment, but most importantly we just want to win this frame and get our first ranking title. So it looks like we've got a pretty good angle. We're going to come right up the table for the yellow. We've underhit it slightly, but that's better than overhitting it, as it looks like we've got the perfect angle on the first colour. If we can get on the green from this one, it's pretty much frame over, as I think we only need up to blue to guarantee the frame. In fact, I've done my maths wrong. We only need up to the brown. So we're just going to try and roll this one in and make sure that we leave ourselves an angle on green to middle. There's no point trying to play a fancy shot at this point. We just want to make sure we've got an opportunity. I was just making sure the pink wasn't covering the model pocket, which it is unfortunately. So we've just dropped the yellow in, and we've got a relatively tough pot on the green, and it's going to be the most important one of our career so far. So I hope you're going to be blowing it in just as I am. Fingers crossed we can follow it. We'll have a little tap on the table if we need to. 31% power. This is the most important shot, and we have made an absolute meal of it, but it's turned into a wonderful safety with the green. We've managed to nestle it up against the black, and we're tight on the top cushion with the cue ball. A wonderful shot. It was completely unintended, and fingers crossed Mark Williams will leave us an opportunity. He's not going to pot that surely. He went for it, but it hit the corner pocket, and it's come back out, and it's near the black again. A pretty good safety shot in truth from him. So who's going to blink first in the safety exchange? Knowing us, it will probably be our performance, but what a position to get this close in the final, even if we do end up ruining it from here. It will be devastating with a 17-point lead, a 19-point lead in fact now, but it looks like we played a pretty good safety again there, although we may come a bit too far off the top cushion. It's another half opportunity for Mark Williams. Fingers crossed he won't take it on and pot it. Let's see what he can do with it. He'll need the pink as well, don't forget, so he's got to get some positional shots right, but we've managed to play a good safety shot there, although we've got a little half chance at potting the green again. Okay, we've lined up the think up. We're sort of playing it half-heartedly with a safety in mind as well. This could end up being the most stupid idea of our career, but we're failing on the safety shots so often, it seems like the right thing to do. 27% power, the green has dropped. We are now one pot away from winning the Scottish Open and our first ranking event of this series. We've got a tough angle on the brown. Do we go for another one? If this misses, it'll be absolutely heartbreaking. The only solace I'm taking is that the blue and the pink are both in awkward positions, so he surely wouldn't be able to clear up anyway. So we're not going to worry about position. Let's just try and drop this brown in. This could be the pot that seals the tournament. It looks like it's in, and it is. We have won the Scottish Open, barring snookers or fouls from this point. We're just going to make sure we make contact with a blue and not pot the cue ball afterwards. So we're not going to play much power on it at all. 17% in fact. We've made a connection with a blue, and it looks like barring snookers we're going to win this tournament. Hopefully Mark Williams won't produce anything special now, as we really can't deal with any more pressure. 26 ahead with 18 remaining, and Mark Williams is trying to play a safety on the blue, but it looks like he may pot the cue ball. It's just stopped before it reaches the corner pocket. We've got to make sure we pot this soon, as otherwise this could go on forever. So again, we're just going to try and make contact for now, and then leave Mark Williams to play a special shot. 17% power, we've touched the blue ball, we haven't potted the cue ball, and they're the only two objectives with every shot we play. The turn of Mark Williams, is he going to pot it or play safe? He has played safe, and is he going to get away with it? It doesn't look like he can play a snooker, because the pink's really tied up, and the only ball he can get behind is the black, and that's relatively difficult at this moment. We're going to play this one with a bit more power, just to see if we can pot the blue in the far corner pocket. It doesn't look like it's going to reach at that rate, but it's worked out to be a pretty decent safety shot. It doesn't matter if we leave it in front of the pocket. We'd like to get it as close as possible so he tries to pot it, because he hasn't really got any other alternatives. He can't pop this ball or it's game over. He's come down the cushion and he is going to get behind the black, is he? He's just hit it too powerfully, and most importantly now, he's left the blue on to win the title, and we're going to make sure we put this in immediately. Let's hit this at full power, just celebrate the victory. 27%, we don't want to overdo it, and we've managed to get onto the pink as well. The Scottish Open title is Ronnie O'Sullivan's, the first of many in this career, I hope. We'll drop the pink in as well while we're here, and then we won't even worry about the black. We'll just try and play a flare shot off it. 42% power, the pink is in, and we're about to see a trophy ceremony, just as we expected on Friday, but on this occasion it's going to be us lifting the trophy, rather than Mark Williams, the experienced legend. So we were trying to line up the black to the bottom pocket. Unfortunately it wasn't to be, because it looked like the cue ball may go in the middle, and we don't want to take any risks at this stage. So the epic anticlimax, but we're just going to hit the black, and then we're going to see what the trophy presentations are like. The one thing I've not been able to review in this series so far, so I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully there'll be a bit of razzmatazz rather than just showing us we've won it. But what a wonderful turnout from Ronnie O'Sullivan, our first ranking title, and there's not even a presentation. What a disaster that is. A really close match against Mark Williams. The highest break was 65. It was a 4-3 deciding frame victory, and look at the match points, 811 in total, and we won 407 of them. Half of the points in that match was 405.5, so what a close match it was. We put 4 more points on the board than Mark Williams over the course of the match. You could say that that ridiculous glitch at the start of the 6th frame did cost him the match, but with such a big break in that frame it didn't end up being costly, and the deciding one was a scrappy one, which suits us down to the ground. So let's go and have a look at what that's done for our career. Is there going to be any sort of acknowledgement of the trophy, or us being the champion at all? Surely there will be. Let's wait and see if we get it. There we go then, that's a bit more like it. It's not quite the presentation we were looking for at the snooker table, but the Scottish Open trophy is won, and we're adding the first one to the cabinet in this career. The 2019 champion is Ronnie O'Sullivan. We didn't get that 147 break in the end, and Kyron Wilson got the high break of the tournament. Well done to him. Apparently we've won a few rewards. We like a bit of lavender, but I'm not sure you'll see me in a bow tie, so we're not going to worry about that one just yet. We've earned £70,000 from the tournament, a best break of 105, which we saw the end of against Mark Selby in the semis. We move up to the top 60 of the rankings. We're in 58th position now, and we'll just go and quickly look to see where that leaves us. The next event is the German Masters. We'll leave it a couple events before we come back, unless we're obviously in the final again, in which case we'll show you some more action. But we're up into the 50s. We're just behind Mike Dunn and Daniel Wells, and we've overtaken the likes of Fergal O'Brien, Ken Doherty and Rory McLeod, so we're certainly moving up in the snooker world. The trophy cabinet has one in it, the Scottish Open, a 2-star event, and in the Hall of Fame we've now got 1 ranked event, so we're starting to make our way up the ladder. But if you did enjoy this bonus bumper episode and that maiden title win, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know down in the comments how many tournaments you've won. If you've won bigger ones than this, maybe you're a world champion already, and you can make my achievement look insignificant if you want. And let me know if you've seen anything like the glitch we had at the start of the 6th frame, where Mark Williams was picking ridiculous shots to try and get out of a snooker, when there was absolutely no chance of him hitting the object ball. Subscribe to the channel for daily content from 2 long-term FM19 stories. We've also got weekly content from this Snooker 19 career, back on Friday as normal at 4:30. And then we've also got 3 videos a week from Cricket 19, so do check those out if you're a fan of other sports games. But a massive thanks for watching and your continued support with the series as always. I really do appreciate it, and we'll see you next time for another big episode as we continue the progress of Ronnie O'Sullivan.